Well, I've just rumbled another Gaza starvation scam, this time on Facebook, and this is, of course, in the immediate aftermath of the Spanish PayPal scammer Damien Sevilla's Gaza starvation scam. This time, what looks like a courageous Palestinian journalist who appears to have had his identity stolen in the aftermath of his death. So, in other words, this face and person that we're looking at on the screen in front of us has very likely died in a tragic incident, only to have all his ID and photographs stolen by a scammer, which has then been used to set up this account that we're looking at here. Now, what first gave this away is the fact that he only had 190 friends, which seems very small in light of the fact of the job that he's doing. And the other indication was that the very first post on his page is only 28 days ago on the 1st of May. And I also found that extremely suspicious, given that it's very unlikely he set up this account only 4 weeks ago and he's only been on Facebook for the past 4 weeks. And of course, all these suspicions were confirmed when I entered into this messenger chat with him and received these extremely suspicious replies, which gave it all away. I mean, immediately after I've just told him that I fell victim to a scam, he then starts asking me for donations. I'm also seeking for your support in donation, no matter how little. It would go a long way helping displaced families in feeding, providing shelter, camps, water, internet, medical aid. The list is endless. No matter how little, it would make a change and put a smile on the faces of so many displaced families, blah, blah, blah. And this is exactly the same narrative, of course, as the Spanish PayPal scammer Damien Sevilla was using in his WhatsApp messages to gain trust and entice people to part with their money to send aid to Gaza. And very quickly, he starts asking me for iTunes cards and gift cards. I then become suspicious how he's going to get this aid into Gaza. I'm extremely suspicious at this point. Say, how do you get aid into Gaza? Can you please provide proof? He then sends me this long list of photos of children holding up signs saying thank you for the donations, thank you for the aid, thank you for the food, which, as it turns out, I believe are stolen pictures from this dead Palestinian journalist's account that are now being used to encourage victims to send aid under fraudulent pretenses to this scammer, and of course diverting aid, vital aid, away from these children in the process, quite literally leaving them to starve to death. So I then asked for a video call, to which he replies, "Brother, I can't pick up your call right now. The phone is quite literally ringing for ages and ages. No one picks up." So I say, "This sounds very suspicious." He then says, "Brother, I'm telling you that I use system, and this is the reason he can't pick up." I then try to call him again. The phone is again left ringing and ringing for ages. Then there's no reply or response. He then, immediately after the phone call, posts another comment saying, another message saying, "I already told you that I can't pick up your call." And that, to me, provides definitive, irrefutable evidence that this guy's a fraudster. Where here's another fake Facebook account, clearly set up by the same scammer as the previous one, because all the text is exactly the same, copied and pasted from the previous fake Facebook account. And if we have a look at the photo, this is fairly clearly another deceased, unfortunate Palestinian journalist who has died in the call of duty, only to have all his details and ID stolen from his accounts and used to set up this fake account here on Facebook. Poor chap's very clearly died trying to send news out of Gaza and provide perhaps some aid while he was there. Like I say, only to have all his details stolen in the aftermath of his death, used to set up this fake Facebook account to lure new donors stroke victims into these chats. that, again, we find using all the same pictures actually as the previous fake account. So this is very obviously set up by the same scammer, because he's using exactly the same photos to encourage us to send him money. So this tells us it must be the same scammer. And this makes me wonder, well, how many more fake accounts has this chap set up? One more disturbing discovery about this situation is that the UN say it still hasn't been possible to distribute any aid in Gaza. This is the UN stating that it hasn't been able to distribute any aid in Gaza as of 6 days ago. This is on the 21st of May 2025. And I believe it was just around this time that the borders reopened and a tiny trickle of aid has been allowed in. And this is explained by this lady here in a clip that I'm about to play you, where she explains how this starvation crisis is being used as a bargaining tool, and has been for the past 2 months prior to this tiny trickle of aid now being allowed in.
The UN's aid chief, Tom Fletcher, said it would see starvation used as a bargaining chip.
You starve people for over 2 months now, and then you allow a trickle of aid, a trickle of food and you ask them to go to Rafah, like for where people have to walk for miles and miles in order to get a food parcel. Is this a viable solution? This is a humiliation.
Well, what she said very clearly there is that no aid has been allowed into Gaza for 2 months. The borders have been fully closed for 2 months, and that's how they have been using starvation as a bargaining chip. And this in turn raises very serious questions about what these charities like Share the Meal and the World Food Programme are doing on platforms like Facebook, raising vast sums of money from generous donors, when we now know that only a tiny fraction of these donations are physically making it across the border into Gaza.